broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, welcome. It could happen to you. Welcome to the Librarians AFTERBUZZ After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. With me, as always, Sam Davidson.
Hi, guys.
We're talking about the Fables of Doom. We got like 3 or 4 little instances of, cute little fairy tales that we all grew up on. Mm-hmm. I definitely did not remember the 3 Billy Goats Gruff story.
Me either. I don't ever think I knew it, actually.
Right? I knew there were goats and a bridge and troll, but I was with Stone when he was like, why do I know this? I was like, oh, sir, that was... Oh.
I don't know. I guess no one knows it.
Yeah, apparently. So our episode begins in a quaint little town, as Ezekiel likes to point out, a quaint town.
Yes.
Where we have this traffic accident, air quotes for those listening. A truck is taken off the road by a troll.
A troll. With a
troll.
Big hand.
Yeah, with a big hand. So the hand that we saw, that's what I wanted for the Dragons episode.
But an eye.
But like an eye or a tail or a foot. That's what I expected. Yeah. So I guess they had to balance.
They had to use all their money on this episode.
Right. They balanced the budget. They're like, we'll do an eye over there and a hand over here.
Yeah. There's only so much they can do, I guess.
Yeah. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's what I was asking for. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, there was a lot of special effects in this episode. And
the wolves.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
It was a very exciting episode. So our librarians come to this quaint town, and I love that they bring up that they can't say who, we're librarians. What?
It's like, what are you going? Go back to your library.
Right, read a book.
Yeah, what are you here to do?
Yeah, they're doing investigating traffic flow.
Because that's what librarians do.
They could have been research students.
Yeah.
And that would have made more sense.
Yeah, something.
Anyway, and Ezekiel is taunting our sheriff. We've got Cassandra looks up at the window of the truck and sees waves. Mm-hmm. And then she goes on her little memory tangent and she doesn't get there.
Yeah, she gets stuck.
This is the first time she hasn't completed her thought to a useful purpose.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird, right?
Well, she still was useful at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I mean, this tangent she went on with her, amber waves of grain, breakfast cereal. Breakfast cereal.
I know well, is that because she was turning into Prince Charming at that point?
I don't think so. I just feel like it was the first time we've seen her unable to conclude what she was doing.
Why did they do that? I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to insinuate.
I don't either. And I think that piece with a little bit of, to jump way to the end, that little last moment where she had magic, I'm like, there is something going on here. And I think that we're slowly building to it.
I thought so too. And then I was like, no, maybe that's just her saying goodbye, magic. But I think you're right. That'd be cooler.
I mean, I feel like, so this episode, we got those 2 little instances, which I think are building her somewhere. And we keep getting kind of Ezekiel character internal struggles. Last week he had to deal with, is he a thief? Is he a librarian? And this week we saw him as the Jack. And we'll get more into the character archetypes later. But we keep getting more of his internal struggle. And I can't wait to see more of everybody else's.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he's developing a lot, which I like. At first he was kind of just like the jester of the group, but now he's the hero.
Yeah. So anyway, they eventually see what the waves are and they're a thumbprint. And then we have this amazing sequence where they video chat with Jenkins, and they're on an iPad, and he's using the mirror. The coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was, up until this episode, every time they're communicating with him, I feel like Bear just happens to keep her phone, like she calls him at some point and then just keeps her phone on speaker for the rest of their adventure. I'm like, he's not just sitting around with, like, waiting on the phone with them.
What is he doing though? Like, what? I still, I mean, I know what he does, but I don't really know what he does with his time, I guess.
He's got research to do.
Okay.
I feel like while so for example, this episode ends and they bring all the books back to him. He has to do stuff with them. He has to figure out what they are and put them in their safe place. So I think each week they give him something else that he has to do while they're adventuring. That's my theory.
Yeah.
He's cataloging books like a librarian does.
Yeah, and he's also very helpful. You know, he's one they call when they're in trouble, even though I don't think he's like that much help.
Well, I mean, in this episode, so after the troll, we see a giant wolf who has a nightie bonnet attached to his head.
Yeah.
And when they take the wolf back to, you know, the annex, he does an autopsy. So he's doing a lot of stuff. They interrupt whatever he was doing to do this autopsy.
Yeah.
And we pull out Little Red. You know, the girl who's straight off her path. She left work early to go to a music concert or a music festival.
Yes, she got eaten.
She got eaten. We also met the mayor of the town.
Naked.
The naked mayor.
In his birthday suit. How did you know my wife got me this for my birthday?
Clever. I was like, oh, I know this story. I got so excited because up until then, I hadn't heard the story. Like, the Three Billy Goats Gruff. I was like, I don't know that story.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
But the naked mayor, I was like, I know this one.
Yep.
Yeah. I would know that one.
Yeah, you would. Like the naked old mayor.
That sounds like me.
Yep.
Anyway, then we have the giant wolf. And Stone instantly becomes the woodman.
Always has an axe. And it's like, and when he threw that axe at the wolf too, they're like, how did you do that? He goes, I don't know.
I was about to be like, guys, anyone who watches Leverage knows that Elliot Spencer could kill you with an axe real easy. I felt like in the fight sequence at the end, he was wielding that axe, and I was like, oh, like, he's got this. He does this all the time, or he used to for 5 seasons on Leverage.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's amazing. The Caniacs at home are like, he is amazing.
He looked amazing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Okay. So we realize that the fairy tales are coming to life. Baird realizes that someone has weaponized the fairy tales.
How dare they? That's so messed up.
But also that's an amazing statement. Fairy tales have been weaponized.
And in her voice too.
Yeah.
Like so serious.
Mm-hmm. She's always so serious.
I know.
It seems that, you know, this is the kind of stuff that Jenkins is doing. He makes a list of all the possibilities, which I paused and read, and like, that was the most fascinating list ever. So the first thing up there is the Spear of Destiny, which is the first movie.
Yes.
Yes. And thank you to everyone who's been sending links and telling us when
it's going to be on. Yeah, it's awesome.
We really appreciate that. We've both seen them now. We've seen all 3. Thank you. So we see the Spear of Destiny, and I was like, you know, and then Jenkins figures out how we can do a process of elimination. If it's in the library, it's not it.
Right.
And he narrows it down to the the Mother Goose Treaty, Aesop's Lyre, and it couldn't possibly be the Libris Fabula because they've been lost for centuries, and it's never a genie's lamp, which is really interesting after last week when we met the genie. Yeah,
and after they said that too, I was like, the genie's lamp is gonna come sometime, and it's gonna be like a big thing. But when he said that, I was like, oh well, if they're gonna say no, then it's gonna want the audience to be like, oh, that's it.
Yeah,
but you know, it wasn't this time. But
yeah, it was in fact the Libris Fabula, which has been lost for centuries.
Of course, found.
And it's this book that, as the stories are read, the book becomes more powerful, and it sucks out the life of the person who's listening and gives that energy to the book and to the person reading the book. And then the person reading the book eventually becomes so powerful that they can rewrite the stories and add new stories.
Let me just say, really choose a little girl why can't you choose like a bad guy? Or I get that guy was a bad guy, but anyone, like a nice little girl.
Well, I mean, our old librarian man, Mr. McGuire, he realized this on accident. He was reading her stories because he's an old man who works in the library and she's this sick little girl, which it surprises me. So she got sick at the library reading fairy tales, then got taken to the library, and he brought the same book that she was reading.
Yeah.
So why would she have gotten sick if she was reading the book to begin with?
I thought someone was reading it to her.
To begin with? It's possible.
Maybe she was younger, you know, like how much time?
I mean, it had only been like 3 weeks.
How old would we say she was? 9?
She could clearly...
She could read.
I think she could read.
She could read, yeah.
I don't know how old kids are when they start reading.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure she could read. It's just it was interesting that she got sick initially, and then he was getting more powerful by reading it to her. Maybe it's because she wasn't reading it to someone that she got sick.
Right.
I'll go with that.
Okay.
So anyway, this amazing... They weaponized books, really, more so than the fairy tales. This book was a weapon.
Who knows what they're going to do next? Honestly, it's like this table is a weapon.
Yeah.
Like this chair. Everything.
All of a sudden, Pee-wee's Playhouse is correct, or is real, and we're going to get eaten by the chair.
Oh, God, that's my worst nightmare. Please.
Is that Pee-wee's Playhouse becomes...
that one. Yeah, that's...
Specifically,
yeah.
Not just any chair?
No, yeah, just that one.
Okay.
I like chairs mostly.
All right. Well, so Jamie is the sick little girl who loves fairy tales. And our nimble rogue, our lucky thief, Ezekiel, of course, is breaking into the vending machine, gets a magic coin that leads him to her, and he kind of figures out what's happening then and there.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got it. Like, I'm done.
Well, it's because I think then he was in character, and he knew, you know, because all of the characters were other characters, and they were just like doing things. They're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So to me, like, that did make sense, but I just loved him that he got that one, because it's like, you know what? I like you, dude. Like, you know what, Ezekiel, like, I do like you. You're a good dude.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He was. He taught this little girl how to pick locks.
I know. I mean, that's a good thing to know.
It is.
And for him, that's like teaching someone something like that's very important in life. I don't like teaching someone how to read, per se. But for him, since he's a thief, like that is like his, you know, what I'm going to do for you.
Yeah. It was sweet. So, you know, our librarians face off with the wolves, let's say, in the library, and right as they die, which I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the show could have played that a little bit more sympathetic. Not that we didn't know they weren't going to die,
right,
but like I would have liked a moment of like, oh, wait a second, like maybe some of them won't survive this, you know, for a split second. But no, of course not.
They gotta go.
Jamie figures out how she's going to solve it. They weren't really dead because, you know, the huntsman's a robot and the princess is a ninja and the prince is Merlin. And as they're leaving the town, they are talking to the sheriff, and he is like, wait, what were you doing here? And they were like, oh, swamp gas. It can cause the whole town to mass hallucinate.
Yeah.
But we fixed it. And I love when he turns to Jamie and he's like, they're librarians. Yeah, that does sound crazy. Like, now that I hear it, yes, that is crazy.
But, and just saying, and I mean, obviously they're not the smartest in town.
They're quaint.
Don't have a lot to do. But yeah, you know what? Good for them. Glad he got her back.
Yeah. Everything ended happy. The library got the whole collection of books. And I feel like Jenkins was, you know, foreshadowing something when he's like, who knows what else could be in there?
Yeah.
I was like, what else could be in there?
See, my biggest issue with him is that, like, he doesn't really seem to care about the librarians. He makes, you know, like, little side notes.
Well, he doesn't care about them.
I know, but why?
Because this is his annex.
But, like, they're just trying to help.
He doesn't want them there. He's like the old school way the library used to run. The rules were, you know, there's one librarian. He comes in. He goes out, searches for things, brings it back to the library, and that's it. It doesn't affect Jenkins. And now all of a sudden, 4 new people live in his home, kind of.
I get it. I do. I just really hope he starts turning it around, you know?
I think he will. I feel like season 2 he will.
Oh, come on. I hope not. They're like putting their lives on the line constantly.
Yeah, which is their job.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. I want to talk about the different archetypes and who each character played and why we think they got that. But first, guys, I want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for listening, streaming, downloading.
You fans are awesome, specifically. Great.
Amazing. First off, last week, the fans commented on Twitter, amazing theories. A lot of you had very similar ideas, and they were all very clever. I love how smart Librarian fans are. Yeah. I said it before. I said it when I got questions from them for the interviews that I had with John Rogers and John Kim, but the fans are so smart. They're intelligent and they're thoughtful, and we love you guys so much.
You teach us.
Yeah.
A lot.
We learned so much last week.
Yeah, a lot.
And we know that we're asking a lot of you now, because we've already asked of you to be smart, and you've done that. So there's one more thing we need from you guys. If you could go onto iTunes and rate and review our show, that would mean the world to us as well. It also lets the people at AFTERBUZZ who don't know about how great the Librarians and their fans are, it lets them know, hey, we're effing awesome here.
Yeah.
So go on, rate and review. If you like us, which we think you do, give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, fine. That's your opinion. We'll deal. Give us 4 stars and leave a comment. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better, and you'll get a shout out on the air. We didn't have any new comments, which made me sad. I mean, we did have on Twitter and YouTube, and people were crazy. It's great, but nothing on iTunes.
Yeah, do a little both. Like, just throw one on iTunes. It's super easy, and we would appreciate it. We'll give you a shout out on air. It'll be awesome. And
if you write a comment that's just gibberish, I will try to read it on the air. That is a gift that I will give you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you don't have to write real words. All right, let's get back into it. So we start with Ezekiel. Well, we'll get to Ezekiel. Let's start with Stone, who is the woodsman, who is this weird cowboy, as he's called, because he's very knowledgeable about the arts and history, which I'm not saying cowboys can't be, but it's like this weird, like, he likes, to bar fight, and he pretends that he's dumb, but he's actually very thoughtful and intelligent.
Oh yeah, he is.
And he gets put as the woodsman, who I think I think that's very similar to him.
Very similar. Okay, I kind of feel like, well, him and Ezekiel's characters were kind of what they were, but the other two were different.
Yes, I agree. And I think it was weird that that's what they would do. I get Ezekiel being himself. I think it would have been interesting to have Stone be somebody different.
The princess, that would have been, that would have been hilarious. I'm sorry. Yeah. How funny would that have been? Would have taken a lot of comedic chops.
He could do it.
Oh God, that would have been really great, actually. Wow.
He would have been great as a princess. I think he would have also been great as like a bumbling fool.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of? Like what was his name in Aladdin? Jasmine's dad.
Oh, Jasmine's. Oh gosh, I forget your name.
Yeah, the Sultan. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. The Sultan. Like, he would have been a great Sultan. Like, he's the bumbling fool. Like, look at my little things, and I have my little toys. And,
yeah.
Like, that would have been a fun character for him.
Something very different. But it was kind of the same, which was cool. Loved to see him with that axe and his arm strength and stuff.
I love it. Well, yeah. But I like that the axe came out of nowhere, and then the owl, they were like, there's a bird. And he's like, yeah.
I know.
What? There's a bird? So great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, let's talk about Cassandra, because this one I loved. Cassandra was the prince. So at first, we see her in the bar, and all the women are paying attention to her. And I was like, wait a second. Like, I know my fairy tales. I may not know, the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, but I know my fairy tales, and there is not a lesbian character.
No, but I mean, I think they just kind of surpassed gender roles.
Which is fine. I was just like, wait, what character is this?
You're like, there's a lesbian prince? Like, what?
Where is this, and how have I not read this story? But no, she was the prince, And then at the end, she says, like, I didn't mind all those girls buying me drinks. And I was like, Cassandra.
She keeps on throwing these curveballs at us.
Yeah.
I'm confused by her.
I really am now shipping her and Lamia.
Oh, God. You.
What? Say something about my ships.
Okay, you know what? First, it was Baird and Lamia. Maybe Lamia's not a lesbian, okay?
Whatever. I think Baird and Lamia would be really hot.
And now maybe they'll just have a big orgy. That's going to be your next thing.
Oh, man. If this show was on a different channel.
HBO.
Yeah. It would be
There would have been a
different.
big dragon eye and tail and some orgies, but it's not.
It's not. It's on TNT.
TNT.
All right. So Cassandra didn't mind all those girls buying her drinks. And she was the prince. And when she breaks the chair and has it, she starts to sword fight. She's like, I'm really good at this. I was like, wait a second. What other cool skills might she have?
Yeah, I mean, what cool skills do princes really have?
They're pretty.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it.
Especially in fairy tales, the prince are
kind of the weakest.
Yeah.
They're just like...
Even though they, like, save, air quotes, save the princess, they don't have characters.
Yeah, and they don't really have, like, powers.
Or personalities.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird that they would put such a interesting and dynamic person in the role of I'm just the good-looking prince. Follow me if you want to live, you know.
I mean, this could be totally off, but what if, like, these characters that they've given them are kind of just, like, what their real characters might be going to in the future? Because Baird, for instance, is she's pretty masculine.
Yes.
And that's, you know, and we will get to it, but she was the princess, you know?
Well, let's get there.
Yeah. And it's just completely not like her. Total opposite, I guess, of her character specifically.
Yeah. I feel like for Baird specifically, I do agree that the show will eventually try to take her into it.
Let her hair down. She wants to let her hair down.
Bless you in the booth, for those who heard the sneezing. I think that she definitely is headed in a more relaxed way. Especially when Flynn and her are together, she's
got to get laid. I'm sorry. Can I say that?
Yes. Yeah. You've already said orgies, so you might as well. She and Flynn have, you know, she kind of becomes a little bit more girly around him. And so I think that she is headed that way. If Cassandra is headed the way of a prince, that would be so lame.
That would be. But I mean, maybe you're in Lamia. Maybe you're right.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Who knows?
I need to send some emails. I'm gonna be like, dear John Rogers, here's what I want.
No, I want her and Stone to be together really badly.
Well, okay, so this episode, he straight up says to her, he says, I can work with you. I like you, but I don't trust you. What? Oh my goodness, what an amazing issue to deal with.
And as he's saying it, though, he's smiling.
Yeah.
Too. I'm like, oh, yay.
And she says, like, what am I supposed to do to, you know, am I supposed to just keep trying to regain your trust? And he's like, no, like, it's not, which you can't be a team. You will never be a team if you can't trust her. And I feel like that's all she's going to be doing now is working to gain his trust. And it's going to end up where, you know, he's going to need to decide and he's not there's going to be something crazy terrible.
Well, I think he might need to mess up himself for it to be like, okay, we both did bad.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only thing to, like, let him, like, you know, just dig it away, dig it in the sand. But I don't know what's going to happen. Like, what's he going to do wrong?
I'm so sad. Especially because I feel like they're going to, you know what? I could see them getting together even though there is this distrust, especially because, and I'm sorry to all the fans who haven't seen Leverage or are sick of me talking about it, it's very similar to the Nate and Sophie relationship where she's a grifter and he is a straight walk-in kind of, you know, insurance man. Like, they met because he was chasing her.
Right.
And he didn't trust her at first. And eventually, after 5 seasons, he got there. But, like...
Let's hope it doesn't take that long.
Right.
But
well, I mean, they got together before there was trust, so, you know.
Well, their relationship is blooming. The show is focusing on it for sure.
Yeah.
Whether what they're trying to tell us exactly, if it's romantic or if it's brother and sister, but they're making it very specific that those two have a private relationship.
Yeah. Or at least they will. And then we have our Jack, our nimble thief. our nimble rogue, our lucky thief, who, you know, Ezekiel at the end is like, no, I was awesome. We were made into characters. I was made into myself because I'm awesome. And you know what? You're awesome because you know me. And all I would think was like, I've totally said that to people. Like I am that self-centered that I would have said that to people.
No, you're not.
I'm a little bit. So, he was this, you know, he was just himself, which is what they needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like in each episode so far, there's been a moment where they're like, oh, we need a thief right now. Or, you know, we need Ezekiel because he is a thief. And I feel like this season is spending a lot of time on him.
Yeah.
Yet we get no backstory.
I'm just very nervous that he is going to like do good, and then all of a sudden he's just going to throw it out the window and be like, you know what, I'm a thief, I'm out of here. Like, we're going to grow to love him and trust him, and then his thievery is going to come back in, you know?
His thievery,
isn't it?
Yeah, okay. I like it. I think it would be amazing if we do go that way, where he builds and builds and builds, and he is good, and he realizes he's doing good, and he's helping. And then at the end, he's like, you know what? I am bored, or I like to bolt, or, you know, I'm done with this. I'm not who you guys think I am. I'm going back to my old ways. And then his character takes a dark turn. That'd be so fascinating to watch. It would be much more, I think, exciting, even if we don't get a backstory until next season.
I think we will.
I don't.
Really? You don't think we'll get a backstory on him at all?
I don't think we'll get his backstory until next season. I don't think we'll get anyone's backstory until next season. Yeah.
Well, I hope we do.
Yeah, that'd be great, but I doubt it. And then Cassandra, as we said, possibly has magic, or has let go of magic, or I think that was something.
Yeah, this girl is just messing with our heads.
Yeah.
I love her. Like, she is my favorite character on this show. I really hope we could get her in the studio, actually. That'd be awesome. But I think I know what she's going to do, and then it's different.
Yeah.
Because she's very easily influenced, too. That's the kind of scary thing about her. Is she's so strong, but she's also very weak and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So all of these different dark forces can kind of take control of her very easily.
Yeah, I agree. She is very strong, but I think that she is naive, I would say. And so she lets other things take her in different directions.
Yeah.
And there's so much more that could happen. And I'm so excited, and this show is so great, and I think it might be time to head into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Predictions.
Next week, we have 2 episodes. That is 2 hours of Librarians. I'm so excited. It looks like we have a cursed competition and or a haunted house. I say and or because the way the trailers and promos showed, it kind of seemed like it's one long story, but I don't know if it is.
Yeah, I'm interested how they're going to do that next week. The 2 episodes, if it's meant to be that, or a special event, or what's really happening.
If I'm counting right, is next week not our season finale then, if we have 2 episodes?
I hope not.
I think it might be.
Oh dear.
I think the 2nd episode is the season finale.
Oh my gosh, wow.
This season has been incredibly short, if it is.
Because the first week was 2 episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, any predictions for next week and or the season finale?
Okay, well, if next week is going to be the last week, definitely Flynn will be back.
Okay.
I think he will. And also Cassandra and Stone, whatever their relationship is, whatever you think it is, it's going to develop because the story is building on it. And Ezekiel is going to, I think, continue to be like the good, he's like, it's the first time in his life I think he's ever felt like, wow, I'm actually doing something good and right. And he's going to keep on going with it.
Interesting. I think Flynn, if he does come back, will only be in the second half. I think I recall from my interview with John Rogers that John Larroquette, who plays Jenkins, will be having a sword fight. Okay. I believe I recall that. So I think Jenkins is going to leave the annex. That's a prediction I'm going to make.
That's fine with me.
And do something with them. I think that one of our new 3 librarians will betray the others in some fashion.
Oh.
That's what I think. So either Cassandra will betray them again or Stone will do something.
Maybe it'll be the least suspecting one. Like Barrett, I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Guys, let us know what you guys think. Why don't you tell them, Sam, where they can find you on Twitter?
Well, guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43 and online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com.
Awesome. And they should definitely send you their predictions.
Yes, please send me your predictions. I'd love to know.
Great. And of course, you can find me online at Yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. And on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, all that good stuff at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Keep tweeting at us, and we will see you next week for more Librarians.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.